Russians at the table yet, or are they just being represented by the Americans?
They're being represented by Americans.
Okay, then we're not close. What are we doing? Like
Russia already responded to that, Your Honor, to the 19 points, whatever that is, and they said, hell no, we're not giving up any territory. Like, it's a non-starter. They already said no way. It's either our way or the highway. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, also, isn't one of the points that got dropped the cessation, the ceding of land?
Yeah.
Which is arguably certainly one of the most important.
No, it was three that was automatically dropped. Was that the military and the Constitution being rewritten so they can't join it?
And all of this is rumored, right? So, and I don't know, Trent. I don't see what you see, to be honest, right? Just because there is an agreement, there has been a long-term agreement over multiple rounds of this between Ukraine and Trump and the United States in a similar pattern. Then the United States comes up with maximalist something, then Ukraine pushes back, Europeans push it back, they agree to something less insane than the initial thing was, and then Russia rejects it, right? That has been the pattern.
I recognize that, neoliberal. I'm not debating all that. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying the reports that are coming out from viable news sources like NBC News and ABC News say that there's agreement on some of the points. I think that's good.
Can I finish? Can we take order in conversation? Go ahead.
Just want to, literally, it just came out 30 minutes ago, all right? And this is this is the Deputy Foreign Minister of Russia, Ryabkov. So he says there can be no question on any successions, any surrender, or any approaches to any key elements in addressing the challenging facing us, including in the context of SMO, which is a special military operation. I emphasize that the various elements of it, which was when Putin met with Trump in Alaska, they represent compromise solutions of their own. The president of Russian Federation has talked about it as that's the foundation we will consult with when we study and continue to discuss the version that is now on the table or will be on the table. So he pretty much just said the 28-point plan is the one that they came up with in Alaska. And they're not going to give up on those particular demands, period. Just came out 30 minutes ago.
I've been hearing you guys go at this for a little bit. There's literally a documentary that came out a month ago. I had a friend who traveled out there for jiu-jitsu in Kiev. Got donations and everything for them. They said that they expect to still be in war for another 5 years. So, mind you, this was something that came out 2 months ago. So I truly don't think, I think it's past any of that stuff. It's past it. It's past it all. Hospitals are bombed, a bunch of more shit. These people they're not looking for that anymore. These people are looking for retribution. And Vladimir Putin's not trying to play nice. So, I don't know. I think everybody that's acting like Russia's this nice superpower and we're all gonna come together and fix it, it's insane. I beg you to go and watch that documentary. I'll post it in here.
Yeah, I'm looking at what Yuri Yuskov. Tell me how to say that correctly. Yuskov, thank you. I can't say it the fuck right. But what he said openly. Okay, now let me give the full context. He said, no, the peace plan was not discussed at Abu Dhabi. He told state media, he said Moscow, this is from the Moscow Times, by the way.
Abu Dhabi?
He said, Abu Dhabi, right. He said Moscow has not received the newest U.S. draft, but the peace plan discuss in any detail at all. But then he goes on to say, some aspects of the proposal can be viewed positively, but added, many require special discussions between experts. He also argued it was completely unnecessary for European officials to be involved in the process. This is very, typical Russian style of negotiation. I think you would agree, neoliberal. But the fact that he even said some aspects can be viewed positively shows you that there's a bit of movement from this, the ridiculousness that from the Russians that there has been before. And so I'm hopeful. If you're not hopeful, if you don't think there's going to be a peace agreement, that's okay. I just think that we are a bit closer than I thought. We were going to be miles apart. I thought this was going to be dead on arrival. But it does sound like
okay, I'll tell you.
for me, there
are very hard points. Give me a second. There are a lot of. Okay, Trent, you're misreading the diplomatic speak, right? What Ushakov is saying there is that he likes the initial proposal that doesn't exist anymore, right? And he doesn't like the new proposal in which Europeans were involved, right? So in diplomatic speak, well, he's not rejecting the new proposal. He says, we want to go back to the one that we had before that doesn't exist anymore. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so it means that we have further away from a deal, right? Rather than closer. Right? If the Russians are indicating that they are rejecting the current proposal and they want to go back to something that was a non-starter, obviously, for Ukraine and Europeans, which means, right, that, like, if I want to give you some wiggle room, it's either a stalemate or they rejected it.
Well, these motherfuckers wouldn't even put out the proposal before.
No, they have. Of course they have.
So,
what are you talking about? They have been putting out.
I mean, a couple months ago, they didn't even want to negotiate peace because they wanted to try to take the maximum amount of
negotiating since the 2020, since March of the 2020, the Belarus and then Turkey. Hello, there have been negotiating. Ukraine has always been open to negotiations. Stop! You don't know shit. You're talking out of your ass. Sorry. Look, I put a video for you in Russian, official video with English subtitles for you in the Telegram chat. Go look at it and listen. Educate yourself. You don't know what you're talking about.
Man, I get what you're talking about. I'm just saying that when Trump first came into office, they pretended like they wanted to have peace. It was a pretend. I don't know that we don't know that the proposal that was put out, I thought was a ridiculous proposal, like many do.
It was the same proposal from the beginning.
Okay, let me ask you. So you're so well invested. So what are you telling me that Ukraine is going to invest? Is going to decline this, completely? And that hold on. Let me ask the full question of Katrina, because she's invested in this. So are you telling me?
I think everybody in here is invested in it.
Okay, everybody in here. Let me ask everybody in here. So the United States basically may pull out completely if some parts of this peace proposal doesn't work, and is the expectation that all of Europe will now rearm to fight the Russians directly. Is that a big?
Okay, let me ask you a question. What do you mean by United States is going to pull out completely? Because what is the United States giving Ukraine right now?
Arms and support and intelligence.
Directly, no.
No, they're not.
The United States is not giving any arms or any weapons to Ukraine. No. Zero, zilch, none.
Well, I'm giving
We've been paying attention to the news.
Intelligence.
Where the fuck did those javelins come from?
I think a year ago,
You got to go to the news. The javelins came a couple years ago.
Okay,
Oh,
so
okay. I didn't know we didn't do
when
anything.
after Trump came into the office, he said, I'm gonna sell this shit to Europe, and Europe, you can give it to Ukraine for free if you want to. Okay?
Somebody gonna buy that shit, and it ain't gonna be
That's
as
what
big.
they are doing, period. Yes, Ukraine has American weapons, but they're not being given or sold to them, period, by United States anymore. Done.
Yeah.
Then you said, okay, intelligence. Well, guess what? I've spoken to plenty of people and soldiers, and they are saying it would suck if we're not going to get American intelligence. But guess what? The intelligence of Europeans is not as bad. So, yes, it would be a little harder, but we can manage it with just the European intelligence. Guess what? Ukrainians don't look at US as like, oh my God, you guys are our saviors. Like, we can't without you. You have to understand, the United States doesn't hold that position in the world anymore.
So,
And that's the whole point about Ukrainians. They're not just gonna bend backwards to a big brother because, you know, he has shit on him. Like, they're not. They really don't care. They're going, we're not even getting anything right now from the United States.
so Katrina, as someone who's like tracking it closely, like one of the things I'm curious about is like, what is sort of the Ukrainian resolve like right now? And like, regardless of what's happening in whatever negotiation, like, you know, are people deserting the military, for example? Are there people who are fleeing the country? Like, are there other signs of sort of resolve weakening? Or, you know, are people sort of standing firm?
Oh, it's obviously not as gun-ho as it was, you know, oh my God, it's almost 4 years ago, right? When every single person went and volunteered. And it is, people are getting fatigued from the war. But a lot of times what media is doing is they say people are fatigued, but that doesn't mean that they're giving up. I know a lot of people who are tired. Yes, there's people who are soldiers who are on the front line. They're exhausted. They're tired. They want this shit to be over. But they're not, you know, there's no mass, you know, running away or MIA or anything. Yes, there's always going to be
Hold on,
society.
Katrina. Fucking Anthony, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't know what the fuck you talking about.
For Europe.
Let people who know what's going on with geopolitics talk. You don't know a fucking thing. You talking about the fucking Biden administration. Have you paid attention what's been happening in the last 6, 9, 10 months? Are you dumb?
Patty,
You about to piss me the fuck off.
why are you getting upset?
Because he's stupid, like you, Trent.
We're not stupid.
He put some dumbass article about some goddamn Biden administration when these people are trying to fucking educate everybody. They're trying to educate you. But this dumb motherfucker gonna bring up some goddamn Biden administration fucking money that's been given by this shit is being purchased by Europeans.
Yes, ma'am. We
Stay on mute, motherfucker. I'm talking to Anthony.
Lord.
What the fuck are you talking about, Anthony? Who the fuck you educate? Go teach a nigga how to fucking put a cap to the head.
Says
Stay the fuck out of geopolitics. Read the goddamn article, nigga.
The time article says Trump sends weapons to Ukraine by the number.
Read the
That's the
goddamn
title
article. It's talking
That's
about the
literally the
Biden
title of the
administration.
article.
And then read the fucking article. You're reading the goddamn headline. I'm tired of you dumbass
And can I just explain something to them? I have a little bit more patience. Hold on. If you don't mind. I understand this is really frustrating for me as well. Okay, so when Biden got through the Congress, approved $61 billion for help for Ukraine, not only military, you guys remember, it was to Europe, it was paying for our troops to train Ukraine military, right? 61 billion was not all for weapons. So that 61 billion was actually stretched out to 2025, right? So it was certain things 1 year, certain amount of stuff next year. So it was, and that was already congressionally approved. And that's it. Trump can't take that back, right? He tried, but he couldn't take that back. Right, and he was told he has to continue because that was Biden's plan and it was approved by the Congress. Now, some of Biden's money that was approved, the weapons and help, was still coming during the Trump presidency. That is Biden's. It ends in 25. Like it ended on September, fiscal year September 25. And the last year, the 25, was very little weapons going compared to the first 2 years. The Trump administration has not signed, has not requested, has not done anything to either sell, give, loan, whatever to Ukraine. Nothing.
And what I was talking about is should the Trump administration.
Hold on, Trent. Let me finish answering to your honor. Let me finish answering to your honor.
Okay. Can I remind everyone? I'm sorry, I'll give it to you back, Katrina. Can I remind everyone we are in this tangent for the last 15 minutes because Trent was misinformed. So now there is a whole lecture about about the exact manner of the deliveries of weaponry to Ukraine. The thing that is like.
Anthony, don't start with me today. Anthony, stop it. You're pissing me to fuck off. Go ahead, neoliberal.
Yeah, the conversation I've got.
Haven't said anything to you.
Hey, Anthony. The conversation, can I just remind everyone, was about the recent news of the leak Kitover, right? Why are we rehashing Trump-Biden administration weapon deliveries? Like, this is public information. People can look up the chart of the deliveries.
Again,
Yeah, I just want Trent stop.
Neoliberal, they don't look up the chart of deliveries. What they do is they read headlines and they don't read into the information. There was fucking an announcement made on fucking NBC, CBS, C-SPAN, Cookie Monster, fucking NPR, fucking India Times, motherfucking crap-ass newspapers like New York Post that said the Trump administration will no longer be giving money to Ukraine. Weapons will be purchased through Europe will purchase these goddamn weapons, equipment, everything. You motherfuckers keep playing. You are the dumbest motherfuckers in the world.
Okay, back to Kitover. Yeah, please, let's not.
Can I just answer your do you mind, neoliberal, if I just finish answering your honor's question? Yeah, your honor, if you're here, majority of the population, we're talking about civilians and soldiers that I know of, and I'm in a lot of groups and Telegram chats and directly speaking to a lot of soldiers and civilians. They're tired. They're absolutely tired, and they're pissed off that Trump is not making it easier. They're making it harder for them. But they're not giving up. There is no. I think the latest poll that they did a national poll about like seceding territories or anything. The only thing that was actually a high percentage, I think it was like close to 60%, was not seceding the territory completely, but it was basically the cedar, complete ceasefire, and we just stop. But we're not giving the territory. And then through diplomatic, channels, get the territory back, basically. But not, there is no big amount, like a majority of population that says, just keep the fucking territory, just stop the war. No, like, there is that chance, like percentage, but there's like a 10% of the population. Definitely not the soldiers. And the soldiers is what matters because they're like, what the fuck did we do this for 4 years for? to just like give it all away. You kidding me? Like these soldiers have family and homes in the occupied territories, right? So no, are they some people deserting? Yes. But I think just in like any culture in any other country, right, you're gonna have a percentage who don't want to fight. That's fine. And the army doesn't even want it forcefully because they realize, like I spoke to somebody who was recruited recently, and he was just drafted. And he said it's not that like when you don't want to fight and you try to run away, they're never gonna like forcefully send you to the front lines because you're not somebody that they can be counted on, right? They don't need people like that in the field, right? Somebody who's gonna betray them, somebody's gonna be afraid, somebody who they don't. If they actually do draft them, what they do is they have them working in like warehouses and shit like that. But they will never like put them out in the front lines.
Got it.
So yeah, people are still getting
Appreciate
drafted.
it.
Yeah, people are still getting drafted. A friend of mine just got drafted 6 months ago. No issues. Got training 3 months. They're fighting and they're not planning to give up. They're just pissed that United States is making it a lot worse for everybody.
Well, so the bottom line of what I'm asking, okay, and we don't have to, I feel for your family and people in Ukraine. I know many of them. They are great people and they fought valiantly. But the real question is, because the Trump administration may pull back support, however we want to look at it. Okay, we don't need to argue about that. Do you think Europe is prepared to step up with not only materials but possibly men as well to face Russia in this conflict? Do you think there's the appetite for that in the next year?
Why men?
Women, troops.
Why?
Yes.
They would have to. Because this is a threat on Europe as a whole. So what if they had to? What's next?
I mean, Trent, you do realize that like Europe, the United States is like not yes, we do have quote unquote that we have the biggest military, but you do realize that European countries and NATO countries, like they have their own very, very, very amazing, just as good as United States military equipment. Patty, right? Let's talk about Mirage, right? The French fighter jets, right? Let's talk about the Iris-Ts, right? They have good.
Yes, I know that the Ukrainians have a very advanced army. That's not what I'm saying, but eventually you need people and you need.
They already listen, Trent. I don't know where you have been for years. The entire Europe has already.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If some shit happened with Ukraine, Europe ain't got no fucking choice but to figure this shit out. Even if the United States doesn't fucking get involved, they're gonna have to figure this shit out.
And that's
they're gonna have to. They have to. Because if they even show weakness, Putin's coming for their neck. You guys are fucking crazy. And you guys are fucking idiots to even think that this is even a conversation to be like, we'll trade price, go ahead and give it up. No, motherfucker, you guys are dumb. Not only does it affect Europe, it affects us.
Yeah, I know, but are we seeing...
It affects us. You know why you don't give a fuck or you don't even think about this shit? It's because you ain't been nowhere.
Oh, you're talking about me?
None of yous.
Okay, ma'am, look.
Motherfucker, go sit in the turret of a fucking gun truck and you figure this shit out. Because you know what, nigga? At this point, I got fucking pins in my leg. I'm already fucked up, right? You motherfuckers, maybe Anthony old ass may not be going nowhere, but you motherfucker need to be fucking sitting in the turret. You motherfucker need to be fucking outside.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't sit in a tour no matter what.
Maybe not, because maybe you're overweight. I don't know. Maybe you can't run a mile. I don't know what the fuck's going on with you. But I promise you, a lot of you motherfuckers need to be outside.
Yeah.
And then maybe you would have some goddamn empathy on what this looks like.
I do have empathy, but
no, you don't. You came out a 28-point plan and doing cartwheels and flips, motherfucker. I don't give a 28-point plan. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't give a, when motherfuckers be up here saying Ukrainians are racist, I don't give a fuck. They're protecting their goddamn country. They're doing what they need to do to push back on Russia. I don't give a fuck if they spit on me. If they spit on me. Nigga, motherfucker, protect your country. Because there's a global economy. There's a fucking threat. There's a lot of shit going on that maybe you don't have a vested interest in, but when your motherfucking Capri Suns cost a little bit extra for your stepdaughter, or when you motherfuckers are living in a fucking country where sanctions are put on you because you got a fucking Trump as a president, I don't really see it happening because you niggas like to spend money like a motherfucker. You Americans like to spend money on anything unnecessary, necessary, whatever. But you dumb motherfuckers that keep reading articles for the headline and not trying to understand the fucking information are the reason why we are in this dumb-ass predicament we are in now.
And I'm asking about, there are Ukrainians hiding in Poland that have fled Ukraine.
Who cares?
Can I?
You niggas ain't even motherfucking volunteer.
Yeah, let's go back to neoliberal.
Who cares? I don't give a fuck. I'd hide too. If I didn't want to join the military, I'd hide too.
I'm asking.
But there's a lot of Ukrainians that's out. They have motherfucking farmers. They have women making Molotov cocktails to fucking throw at goddamn tanks. So shut the fuck up, nigga. You ain't even went outside to go join a fucking National Guard where you can get fat and just deploy or have be a weekend warrior, motherfucker.
Patty, I'm asking you a question.
Don't ask me no goddamn question. Talk to fucking. I'm just telling you to shut the fuck up trying to go against the Ukrainians.
Not going against Ukrainians.
Go ahead, neoliberal.
No, hold on. I'm asking if we think that the Polish and the Germans and the French.
Stop it! Stop it! There isn't that many people.
Trent, we were going back to neoliberal. Hold on, Katrina. We were going back to neoliberal. Go for it.
I'm asking a simple question.
I know, but it isn't your turn, man. It's not your turn.
I didn't even ask the question.
Yeah.
And look how dumb Anthony is. Russia didn't attack until Trump left office. This nigga don't know what the annexation of Crimea is. He don't know what Minsk 1 is. He don't know what Minsk 2 is. He don't know that Katrina, neoliberal, fucking your honor, anybody with 2 cookies and ice cream in they fucking refrigerator, all y'all know that Russia has been fucking with fucking Ukraine forever. This dumb motherfucker thinks that he just started after Trump left office.
You're dumb. This is years of stuff. This is years. This is
This dumb motherfucker doesn't know there was a naval base in Crimea where they went and fucked fucking Ukraine.
Exactly.
This dumb motherfucker doesn't know there was a bridge between Crimea going into.
Okay.
Bro, this did not happen. Bro, this stuff happened before Obama. Who saved
It's fine. We're going to neoliberal. He's been trying to get in for like 5 minutes.
Okay. I'm not even trying to get in and say anything on the topic, and I'm not a moderator, but please. Ukraine is a large topic, and everybody's just throwing in everything right now, right? Weapon delivery, morale, negotiations, who was wrong, Obama, Trump. It is impossible to talk about all of those things simultaneously in one conversation. It doesn't become a total mess. So this conversation started from Witkoff's news and the leak. I suggested we focus on that, or at least one of those topics specifically, and not jump from one thing to another thing to another thing. Like, it's impossible to follow. I don't even know what to say at this point. there has been so many things brought up.
All I'm asking is, if we don't have a peace plan now, Ukraine, to Katrina's point, their soldiers are tired. They are getting low on troops. I mean, we already have foreign fighters there.
Okay, let's focus on that, Frank.
Stop it. No, they're not. Stop it.
You
No,
just
they're
said
not. You're spreading misinformation. I said that they're tired, but that didn't say that they're low and everything else, and that morale is low. I said they're tired, and they're saying that the United States is not helping right now, and they're pissed off about it.
Just let me get out the question. At what point do Poland, Germany, and France, maybe possibly the UK, begin to commit troops or get involved in this fight? Or are we going to see a prolonged attrition war, which favors Russia for the next, 3 years?
Bo read Macron about 6 months ago and what he said about sending troops to Ukraine. Go do your homework. I'm serious. I'm sick and fucking tired of
Katrina,
Americans.
this is not helping. Can we?
This is
If
ridiculous.
you're answering, just answer the question, please. For
Fine.
God's sake.
Yeah, but it's just stupid fucking questions. Okay, Trent.
Okay, Katrina.
Europe is willing to send troops. Europe is willing to send troops if that's necessary. Period. Done and over. Goodbye.
I have a question for America, for anyone who doesn't know about this Ukraine shit. Does anybody know when the USSR fell apart?
1991.
Okay, what happened after? I know you know this, Katrina. You're cheating. What happened after this?
All the Baltic states left? What are you talking about?
No. What? Why do you think we're at where we're at right now?
We know the history, bro.
Obviously not. Because motherfuckers were just saying.
I don't know the history. That cool in the chat sounded dumb as fucking Anthony. Y'all don't know the goddamn history of shit.
Y'all don't know the history. This has been a problem since
But
way
is
before.
it possible to
Motherfuckers sat here and said this is an Obama problem. They just
That's what I'm saying.
dumb.
I'm like, dude, this has been a problem
This
since.
fucking shit on tissue
So
paper.
this is a problem after the USSR fell apart. They were not together at some point. Do you know actually, like,
No.
do you guys even know history about Ukraine and Russia? Do you even know that they were?
Why? It wasn't even before.
We know we were sworn to protect them, they gave up their.
Are we gonna go to the
You don't even
Mongol
know.
horde and
Don't know, bro.
Kiev and Rus next? What is happening? Can we focus on specific
Yes, you
part
gotta
of
just
the
say that.
history?
Neoliberal. I was just
Stop
gonna say
trying
that,
to be
but
the
there's
voice
no
of
point
reason,
in going-
please.
There's no point in going all the way
Please stop
back to
trying to be the voice of
USSR,
reason.
because we can go all the way back to literally like
Can we not?
neoliberal said that's Russian. Moscow was still a freaking literally a swamp when Ukraine.
Go ahead, neoliberal.
Again, I'm not a moderator. Can we not spread 1,000-year history on a clubhouse when, like, it's impossible to talk? Like, okay, Trent brought up, as much as we disagree with Trent, it is fine, right? It's a question. He asked about morale, right? And he made a claim about the entrenched, like trench warfare, basically, attrition war going on. Trent, you're right to have those concerns. It's okay if we acknowledge that those concerns are present, right? They're present in Ukrainian society. And overall have agreed to a ceasefire, right? Do you agree with me on this, Trent? I'm going to go slow, point by point.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, man,
Okay.
I completely agree with you.
Okay, so second point. The attrition war does not necessarily favor Russia, because if you look at the map is not moving, right? The problem is that Ukrainians have agreed to ceasefire up until from the Istanbul talks, not even under the Trump administration. The problem is that Russia has not dropped its maximalist demands that are not acceptable to not only Zelensky personally, but all of Ukrainian society. Like, Ukraine would go into a revolt if those things are imposed on Ukraine. Do you agree there with me on the initial plan? Do we have an agreement, Trent?
Repeat the last part again. I missed it.
If demilitarization and constitution and in some form of recognition and withdrawal of troops from Russian territories is imposed on Ukraine, there is a high risk and high possibility that it creates a revolt and collapse of Ukrainian society and military. Do you agree with me?
Pretty much, yes, pretty much.
Okay, so the question is right now for, let's say, United States, is how to find a security configuration in which Ukraine does not collapse, does not form Irish-style, I don't want to call them terrorists, but guerrilla units, right, etc., and continues the war in another fashion, right, while freezing the conflict meanwhile. So if that's the task of the United States, can you answer me directly, who is the actor that is not signing up to that task?
Russia, I would say.
Russia, okay. So we have substantial agreement with Trent. Russia is being belligerent, has maximalist demands, right? Ukraine has pretty much accepted all it can accept and is teetering on that line where it cannot force on its own population referendum on constitution because people will not go for it, right? It cannot limit or demilitarize or impose Russian language, etc., without the Ukrainian state collapsing, right, into guerrilla warfare against Russia. So the point about, back to the Witkoff conversation, hopefully, and we're going to stay on the Witkoff conversation. The problem with the initial plan was that it clearly pushed Ukraine in a direction and was not acceptable neither to Europe nor to Ukraine because of the concerns I mentioned before, right? So they worked out something that is acceptable to Ukraine. And we don't know the future, but my prediction is that we're back at Alaska Summit, we're back at all the negotiation rounds starting from Istanbul, right, where Ukraine agrees to something, unconditional ceasefire, direct negotiations with Putin, all of that type of stuff, right? And the party that rejects it is Russia. Do you agree with me that there is a pattern like that?
So we can skip and not focus on me. I agree. We're going to end up agreeing on 95% of what you say. I believe Russia was the belligerent. I believe Russia is the one who does not want to settle this conflict. We don't have to. I'm with you on that, Neil.
Okay. I'm just working it out to demonstrate that as much as we disagreed 5 minutes ago with Trent, there is substantive agreement. So perhaps it is useful to enumerate all the agreement before going to the disagreement. So after all of this has been said, what is the disagreement exactly, precisely?
The only disagreement we had is it wasn't even a disagreement. I just said I interpreted movement on what coming out of the Russian side and out of course the US side, which can be propaganda itself, but that there was movement and that we were closer on this peace deal than I initially thought we were, and it blew up into this, that's not possible. And I'm just saying, well, that's our media is reporting something. Now, again, this is the Trump administration that is feeding this, so I'll take it with a grain of salt. But I just thought we were closer on some of the points, not obviously every single point, than I initially thought we were going to be. And I see fatigued at this point on both sides of the conflict of fighting or prolonging this war, because to your point, it really hasn't moved since 2023. The fault lines are basically the same. So we're having enormous loss of life of young men and throwing away their lives for I don't want to say for no reason. Ukrainians are fighting for their homeland. But at this point, because there's no movement, it feels a little bit like World War I. Why don't we end this conflict and see if there's a resolution? Because the only alternative is the Europeans getting heavily involved to push Russia out of Ukrainian territory.
So let me, I'm going to tell you why I'm getting frustrated and why I'm cursing at y'all men. Because even the other day, when we were talking about international law, because I know as a woman, sometimes when I say shit, you motherfuckers want to try to challenge, like, if we're dumb. So I said, hey, neoliberal, let me ask you a question. Is this legal? No, it is not. So, neoliberal, yes, you are correct. Why in the fuck did he have to explain something that maybe Katrina was already speaking on? And all of a sudden, you guys understand. Anthony's in the chat talking about, you're correct, neoliberal. But he was challenging fucking Katrina the entire time in the chat. What is going on with you men? You guys have a problem with your mother? Do you hate your mother? Are you mad at your mom? Are you mad at a girlfriend? Is something wrong with you guys? That Katrina can't say something and it makes sense? Is there something wrong that women can't have? No, I want to know. I want reality. I want to know. Is there something where women can't say things and it makes sense? That we have to go through a goat? Where he had to reword something that maybe me and Dr. AG were talking about? He's like, Patty, go sit down and put your skirt on. I got this. Or I have to ask neoliberal questions and he has to answer. What on? I would like some of you men to explain to us why you don't understand shit that comes out of our fucking mouth.
I'll answer since Anthony's not on the stage. As the whatever. Look, both my senior vice president and my COO are females that are excellent leaders. I was actually trying to ask you the question because of your military experience, which you thought.
But Katrina was well versed.
I heard Katrina. I was talking to Katrina. I was talking to Katrina directly. I think Katrina, probably as all people, has the best sense of what
but y'all still challenged her.
I didn't.
Or it was okay for you to talk to me because I wear a uniform and you think I got a dick. I don't have a dick. I have a vagina. I gave birth to a daughter. I have a daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have a dick. I may get loud sometimes in this room, but Patty really does not have a dick. And I like to be soft. But you niggas like me to be hard. That's the problem.
Let me ask you from a military perspective, because I wanted your military.
No, don't ask me from my military perspective. Katrina, let me tell you what's so funny, right? You know why me and Katrina actually got a little deep in school? Let me tell you a secret. You know how me and her got hooked up in school? There was this little room we used to go to. She was one of the only females, and I'm talking about you men didn't know shit about equipment, where the equipment was coming from, and didn't even know some of the weapon systems. But guess what she did? And she did.
Daryl, can you close your mic?
Well, they're about to go to school. She did. We were in a room full of men, and she was the only one that was able to have a conversation with Patty on what weapon systems were actually able to help the war. She was the only female that me and her can have a back and forth where we could talk about fucking real weapons, not your little 9mm you got in your closet. I'm talking about real motherfucking weapons.
Like what could be attached to F-16 and what cannot be attached to F-16? Can they make, moderation?
And she's a mom that takes care of her babies and takes them to school. She's a soccer mom.
Patty, can I ask you a direct question that you can answer?
No, don't ask me a direct question. Ask Katrina when it has to do with you.
Let me ask Katrina a direct question then. How long should, in your estimation, should American support withdraw from this conflict? And maybe we stop. I'm not saying that this is going to happen because I think that the Trump administration will always take money. But if the Trump administration stops sending weapons through Europe, and it is a solely European-Ukrainian conflict, how long do you think that this war will go on until Ukraine begins to take back territory from Russia?
First of all, American weapons through Europe is never going to stop coming. Number one. Never. Because Europe owns certain weapons that they bought, right? What is Europe doing right now is they're actually, and NATO in Europe, they're literally buying everything brand new from United States. You people, Americans, you don't even understand how much money and how much promotion the American weapons have literally done in this war. If you go and look at Lockheed Martin, if you go and look at Boeing, and you see the amount of orders that now Europe is getting for HIMARS, HIMARS used to never really sell. They cannot keep up with the orders. They're back.
Ask these men what a HIMAR is. Ask these men what a HIMAR is.
Does anybody know what HIMARS is? No. Right?
Artillery. Missile artillery.
She's a soccer mom. Ask the soccer mom what a HIMARS is.
We just said what it is. But the point is, how long do you think that this conflict goes?
Ask them, Katrina, you know what tank is,
Which one?
Don't say the name of it. You know what tank has been most productive in helping Ukrainians move forward in this war? Because we've had the conversation.
Yeah.
Ask the men which one it is and see what they know.
Which
Not
has been
neoliberal.
Yeah. Which tank has been the most successful in durability and everything else? Like, which tank?
I don't know.
Huh?
It might be the German.
It's the M4 Sherman.
Is it the German?
Which one?
I'm kidding. The Sherman.
German or the what?
I'm kidding. It's a
Well,
German.
do you have a name? Which German? What do you mean German tank?
He said Sean.
The Leopard.
Germany might even have United States tanks. Which tank?
Leopard.
What is it?
M1 Abrams, maybe? Or the MS.
That's American.
Abrams not a goddamn tank. Or not the tank that they're using.
Yeah, I don't really have Abrams.
Okay, we don't know which tank. We don't know.
We don't know the answer.
So the thing is, this is why I'm like so fucking frustrated. When she was speaking, what happened in the chat is you got fucking Anthony sending things talking about she don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Then you over talking her as if she's a dummy in the fucking room. She's a soccer mom. She shows up for PTA for her son. She fucking she makes sure her house is ready for her husband. She always talks about her husband's working. She always talking about little issues. But guess what? She's smart. You guys gotta stop dismissing women.
You talking about Katrina?
Yeah.
Katrina.
Nobody.
She knows. Let me tell you what's so funny. We were having a conversation one day in a room full of fucking men about fucking equipment. She was the only fucking one, the only person. The men didn't know shit. She was like, oh yeah, it's coming out of this country. I was like, how do you know? Then we were talking back and forth. Guess what? The men couldn't even put a piece of, they couldn't say shit. You know what you motherfuckers talk about?
They didn't know what we're talking about. Yeah.
They didn't even know what the fuck we were talking about.
We talk about Shadura Sanders, but Katrina, my question is, how long?
I dismissed that she was having the conversation.
I
But
did
you
not.
fucking chimed in, and guess what? Read in the chat where Anthony said,
Okay, well,
exactly neoliberal.
I don't speak for Anthony. I'm speaking. First of all, Katrina's a fellow Texan. My girl is in Austin.
No, she's not. She's an American. She's a fellow American.
No, she's in Texas. She's in Texas.
She lives in Texas, but guess what? She came to the United States and she was in New York.
But
She was
Katrina,
in New York outside of her original country.
got it.
I don't consider myself a Texan. Thank you very much.
Okay, so how long does this conflict last?
Can I address what you're saying that I said exactly to neoliberal about?
Nigga, I was listening, so stay on mute.
No,
You're not gonna address
I didn't
that.
say it.
I'm gonna put you
I
back
typed
to
it in the.
Go ahead.
How long does this conflict last in terms of months or years? And how many more lives, in your estimation, is it going to cost to unseat Russia from where it sits now?
In other words, what's the off ramp? What's the off ramp?
Okay, there is no only off ramp.
How is she
The only off ramp that there is, first of all, if United, like you're saying, if United States stop helping, like I said again, United States isn't even really helping that much anymore. You understand that? And we Americans need to stop thinking that we're like the power of the world, that other countries cannot manage or fight without the United States. My God. Okay, number one. Number two, Ukraine will continue to fight. Yes, it is going to continue to drag the way it is dragging right now. And it is dragging, and majority of the losses are on Russia's side because they're the ones who are going in, so their losses are the biggest losses. It's about 1,000 and change troops a day. So Russia is running out of troops. They don't have military anymore. Their original military. That military was wiped on the once they started the full scale invasion. That's why they had to get 300,000 civilians mobilized. Now they have emptied out all the prisons. Now what they're doing is people that are getting arrested for DUI or anything else, they basically are being told either you go to jail or you can sign the contract and go and fight, right? That's their new thing that has been going on for about 3 months, right? So Russia is also not as strong as
You forgot about the dead 3,000 North Koreans.
Yeah. So, I mean, as long as Ukraine is dug in, and that's what they're saying, and that's soldiers, as long as we're dug in really well, and they are dug in very well, they've had years. And Russia keep seeing their meat grinders, because it's a meat grinder, man. Ukraine could sit there for a while. And at that point, it's literally going to be, this is not my perspective, this is what Ukrainians are thinking and saying, because yes, military, they cannot counterattack and take back all the territory. But to basically suck Russia dry, and that would be the Afghanistan scenario, in the Soviet Union, Afghanistan scenario. It got to the point where they just pretty much went bankrupt, right? And that was one of the big reasons why the Soviet Union fell apart, because Russia is spending a lot of money on this war. So as long as the United States doesn't lift all the sanctions and Russia starts getting a ton of money again, it's already having a lot of financial issues, and slowly but surely it will literally gonna have to give up one way or another.
What if they don't give up?
They can't.
So we're gonna, okay, I mean, what I hear you saying, what I hear you saying is we're gonna continue investing into this war. 1,000 people continue to die in the hope and a prayer that they give up.
It's not a hope and a prayer, Matt. I just gave you 2 historical reasons why this happened again. Why this would happen. Afghanistan, 10 years. Union. Do you know that part of history? What happened? They spent so much money on that war because they were refusing to lose. The end, they gave up. They lost, right? And that bankrupted the country.
So did the U.S. in Vietnam and partially in Afghanistan. So there are things that eventually, after years, get lost and millions of lives. And so, I'm just asking if you see an end, if you see a near end in the next year.
I just said no. That's the only end.
The only
unless Putin just dies tomorrow.
Okay.
This is very obvious to anybody that has looked at Soviet Union, and ongoing collapse of the Soviet Union for people in the periphery of Russia, right? These conflicts rarely end. They are frozen and then they reignite, right? This is all over the X period of the Soviet Union, right? So anybody involved in this, right, and trying to achieve peace is beyond the headline that we have peace as ceasefire, right? For a successful in scare quotes, right? You can look at Korea Armistice Agreement. That is a successful frozen conflict, right? In ex-Soviet period, even if you get ceasefire right now, there is like so much geopolitical shit in the periphery of Soviet Union that nobody expects this thing to go away in the next 60 years or something like that, whatever you do, right? So that's a given. That's what people in the ex-Soviet Union understand, even ceasefire tomorrow. And like we have, and this is viewed through the like American culture war and electoral politics of Trump wanting a ceasefire and solving the conflict. There is no solving post-Soviet Union conflicts. Like, it's not happening. It's going to go on for 60 years. You're going to get, the best scenario you get is...
Neil, again, no disagreement on that. Like, we don't have to...
Stop interrupting him. Let him finish.
Okay. So, it is a choice between peace intermittent with war, right, and a stable security configuration in the interest of the United States. If you're speaking about this conflict, right, can you, like, this is, you have this type of approach, wars go on, wars are bad, we want peace, everybody wants that, everybody agrees to that, right? That is a, like, basic table stakes to this conversation. So next, what is the United States interest in all of this, right? How to come up with a configuration that secures long-term peace and resolution to this conflict. So if you could start trying to answer those questions, we can have a conversation, because what I'm hearing is, like, you know, some type of 60s hippie, war is bad, let's have peace. Okay, we all agree on that. Next, what? Then what?
So, look, we agree that I agree that Russia is a belligerent. That's not what I'm saying. But here's the problem, because we haven't had a conflict with a full-scale war with a nuclear power in modern history. And if you're going to fight a war, and this is what a lot of the journals said, like McCaffrey and McChrystal, if you're going to fight a war, you can't fight it with one hand tied behind your back. You can't with old weapons, long-range weapons that will hit Moscow, because eventually you got to hit the populace, right? You got to take out, and you have to make people suffer. That's the ugly thing about war. That's the terrible thing about war. Eventually, you have to use all your forces. You have to hit their oil infrastructure. Why you're still buying Russian oil? I'm with Trump. Just fucking be on.
Throwing away random stuff. Can you?
No. I'm not throwing away random stuff. If you want to win this conflict,
Dan, stop. Seriously, you're throwing too much in one pot.
No, I'm not talking about. This is the same about how we win a war.
Stick to one topic.
It is the topic, ma'am. If you want to cripple the Russian economy, you can buy their oil, and you've got to hit Moscow.
They're not buying their oil. Stop it.
Okay, they're not buying their oil. Sure.
Trent, so again, I'm gonna try to focus it. Can you, like, try to engage in a conversation rather than random facts?
Look, you
okay.
hit my.
I asked you specific questions.
You can't hold back weapons from Ukraine. Right? You can't hold back weapons from Ukraine and say, oh, you can't hit these oil refineries. Oh, you can't hit Moscow. Oh, you can't do this, and expect them to win the war.
Is this criticism of Biden or Trump?
No, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying
introduce the precision in conversation. I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you talking about administration policy?
hasn't got long-range weapons. This is new to you?
Right, stick on one topic. Listen, you started talking about buying oil and then hitting Moscow.
Katrina, let me clarify.
Katrina, I'm arguing for what your country has been asking for.
I'm literally Russian, Trent. I'm not Ukrainian. I'm literally Russian. Hello.
I'm arguing for what Ukraine has been asking for, and then tying their hands with long-range weapons, which and not allowing them to hit certain targets. Yeah, and if you want them to win the war, you've got to untie them.
I'm asking you a clarifying question, Trent. I'm not even introducing. I'm asking which administration policy you criticize.
It was Biden's and still Trump's. Trump should have sent the Tomahawks.
Okay.
Biden should have sent them the long-range weapons in the beginning. I commend the Ukrainian people who've done up.
Trent, focus.
I am. The Ukrainian people have done.
Are you talking about commending Ukrainian people? We're talking about Biden administration and Trump administration policy. Can you?
Because the Ukrainian people have done a fantastic job.
Okay, we agree. Can we?
So wait a minute. Let me go ahead. When Trump said javelins, what a lot of people don't realize is Obama sent them training so that they can use certain equipment in the future that they had no training on. Like, you guys act like Poland just came, troops in Poland just came out the dirt when that war started. Like, class 1 through 10, that warehouse was established. That's why I told you, like, Indo-PACOM became involved well before this war popped, or what the ultimate part of the war popped off that U.S. citizens started talking about. Right. Like, that warehouse has been there for a couple of years. Because, and not only that, there were troops already in that area that were training Ukrainians on the equipment that was being white trucked from Eurocom. Do you understand now?
I think we're trying the same party is, you remember when Zelensky and everybody were asking, and Zaluzhny, they were asking for HIMARS, they were asking for the artillery that goes, that could hit Moscow, wasn't it? They gave it to them 70 kilometer range, but they wanted like a 200, 300 kilometer range. Remember those?
Right.
And Trump and Biden administration was saying, no, we don't want you to hit inside of Russia with American artillery or whatever. Like, we don't want American made weapons hitting inside of Russia. So that was Biden's policy, right? For some reason, I don't know, they didn't want that to happen. Now Ukraine is using a lot of shit, and they are trying to not only they haven't even really been using that much of American weapons or even European weapons. They